Excellent. There we are. We'll say good morning in the comments here as of the market open. There it goes. All right, let me get my screen share going. We'll get WEBULL up here. Excellent. Let's see what we got going on today. Let's check out Torch. Had a lot of recent exciting price action. Look at that, the volume that it had and the gap up that it had. So it's definitely resembling what we had back in February. And that is just an enormous gap up. So they have a special dividend offering coming up. It's also a possible short squeeze target. Just incredible movement so far. We are about 6 minutes out from the opening bell. We'll go down to the intraday charts for this. Make sure that I can see my comments so I can see anytime that you guys are talking with me. There we go. All right, zoom in on our chart a little bit. There we go. Wonderful. All right, so we actually have some decent lines in the after hours and in the pre-market. It looks like we're finding a little bit of resistance right around like the 1140-ish mark. And it's nice to have that little bit of a sell-off that we have right back down to this double peak that we had during the regular trading day yesterday of 975. We'll see where the overall market bias puts us. Hello. I'm going to say your name is T, and I'm going to go ahead and guess at the pronunciation and say Tajasa. If that's close, just let me know that I'm close enough. If I'm way off, just let me know that I'm way off, and you know, hopefully I can come up with that. Good morning, Dr. Stock Auto. Like, excellent. Thank you very much, Angelito. Absolutely wonderful. All right. So what we're looking at here for Torchlight, I want to be careful when the market opens. We could pull down a little bit harder on this, just as trading the open is always difficult. So if you're looking to like do a day trade or something like this, sometimes you get people shaking out right at the start that'll rip down real quick just to tag people out of their trades before carrying onward. We have decent momentum carrying from yesterday, and we could still see a little bit of buying pressure today on Torchlight. So let's see what the close was at yesterday. So I think we got to go back to this candle right here, close at 992. So we're currently up just a little bit above yesterday's close for Torchlight. Let's see what else we have going on here. Riot Blockchain. I just put out a video a few minutes ago where I talked about Riot Blockchain, and this is going to have a rough day if crypto keeps on going the way that it is. Because Ethereum, for example, just hit under 1,800 earlier. I believe it was. Actually, let's go to Ethereum and see where that low price was. There we go. So here's the 30-minute chart. There it is, 1754, and we're still currently trading below 1,800 on this. So we still have a decent amount of room. Let's go to the daily chart, because that might either tie or put in a new low from what we had back in May. There we go. Let's look at that low right there. We'll zoom in so we can see a little bit better. 1731. We are getting close. If we break support there, I was saying in my Discord this morning. Good morning, Abaha. Good morning, Mary. If we put in a new low, if we break this little bit of tenuous support that we have here, as far as for people who would be trading this in like shorter time frames, if you're taking long positions on it where you want the price to go up, our support is looking just a little bit shaky from where we're at. We have a decent amount of room to the bottom of this. Now, to my bullish investors for Ethereum, I'm very bullish on Ethereum. I think especially as we get into EIP 1559, more into 2.0. Mind you that the proof of stake and the sharding is all coming. Proof of stake, I believe that switch, according to Vitalik, is the beginning of 2022. He seemed reluctant to say end of 2021. So we'll see how that progresses. It might happen, but it might not. If we drop below this, we have room down to around 1,500. And after that, we're down to between 13 and 1,400. And then we get, let's see where our next, yeah, we have just little tiny bits of support on the way back through this. So for long-term investors, bullish investors, these are great buying opportunities and excellent opportunities to do dollar cost averaging. So we'll see how much our support holds from right here. Bitcoin is also dropping down. Bitcoin hit under 30,000 again recently. There we go. So if we go here, the low price right now, 29.3 is the current low, and this is on the daily chart on Bitcoin compared to the US dollar. We are just above this price that we have here. If that support holds, that's good news for us. It means that we're still finding buyers right around that price, especially for people, like I said, trading on shorter time frames. This death cross could be leading up to its potential. We have a lot of restrictions coming out of China right now that are sort of leading this sort of sell-off and like trying to really push into that fear. If we break this, I think I started saying, I don't know if I kept on saying it, but that really starts pushing us into peak fear, especially if we break this this low that we had back here of what, 28.8. So going down below that level really gives us a far way to fall for Bitcoin. And for me, that fall would be a huge buying opportunity because I believe in the long-term value of Bitcoin, that it is going to go up over time. And the stock to flow model showing us 85,000 as a price tag going into the fall if we correct back to those levels. And we could get a slingshot back up to that. Going back to the market open here. Because Torts has given us a decent amount of pre-market action that we have. Let's go down to the 5-minute. Alan Atha Pharma dropped 40% in 2 days. CEO is being investigated for something. Wow, I'm gonna have to check that out. We'll do that just after we get into the pre-market here. Same thing for CLSK. Saying if it is at its bottom, that could be good for us if we're looking at it from a long-term perspective. All right, so double bottom resist during the low volume pre-market, 941-ish, 943. Where are we at? Oh, all right, market is open. There we go. Sorry, I get caught up talking too much sometimes. There we are. The crypto news today, just huge for us. That's gonna be big watching that play out. Uh-oh, pinwheel of death. There we go, 967. All right. So looking at Torchlight, like I said, we could see an immediate drop. It could tag people out. And on the 5-minute chart, we went down to this bottom that we had right here. What was that low value? That low value was 941. So this is the kind of stuff when you try to trade the open, if you have a strongly trending stock, especially to the upside, because that's typically what I look for when I trade with stocks. You have that market open where it will drop and it can tag you out of the trade. So coming down to this bottom, let's zoom out and see if we see anything else around that level. Not a whole lot, but I can tell you something else that I see when I look at this. This 200 period. This is a 205-minute periods because we're on the 5-minute chart. We are tracking a little bit along it as far as resistance goes. So if we break up above that, then our next resist could be up around here. It takes us through this like consolidated area that we have in the after hours and in the pre-market. And we could also be looking at the 50 period simple moving average also as some resistance going forward. This is the 5-minute chart. So if that bottom holds, we could see a turnaround, a reversal, or we could see it trade sideways. So we'll see what sort of strength Torchlight brings for us. All right. Let me see. I just want to catch up. So what would be best entry for GBTC? All right, I'm going to move down through these in order so I don't get lost, and I definitely don't want to miss anybody in this. So to the best of my ability, I will try to keep up with the different things that people are talking about, because what you care about is what I care to bring to you, because you want to know a little bit more about what's going on. So let's go to the daily chart on this one. Athera Pharmaceuticals, and this comes from Alan. Wow, that is that is a heck of a gap down. All right, and you're saying that CEO was being investigated over something to do with her PhD. It looks like a massive overcorrection. It definitely could be. So if there was trouble with the, I mean, really comes down to, I mean, this would definitely be a fear thing, and the trustworthiness of the company could be in question with the CEO. So we could definitely see that correction between, we'll look at the moving average that we have up here. It looks like the 50 period that I have up right now at around $18 per share. So that could be like between 70 and 80% upside from where it's currently, or where it closed at, or I'm sorry, where it's currently trading at today. Wow. All right. We'll see if we got news on this. Yeah, there's going to be all sorts of lawsuits and stuff that comes out that go along with that. But if that doesn't hold up, if the PhD really is valid, if that investigation turns up nothing, then we could see this rubber band back up to these other prices that it was trading at. It looked like previously, and this could end up being resistance for us on our way back upward, around just under $16 per share when we look at this one. So that could give us some sort of idea there. And I mean, analyst estimates, wow. So Alan, Alan, if this turns out to be nothing, and if now is this is pharmaceuticals, yeah. So these analyst estimates, when you look at those, these are usually considering that whatever product it is that they have is going to work out for them. That is going to hit commercialization or FDA approval. Or there's a lot of intellectual property, whatever it might happen to be. But looking at these 12-month price targets, and let's say that investigation turns up nothing whatsoever, and that confidence comes back to the stock, that could make these realities. I mean, you're looking at 3x just to the low analyst estimate out of these four that are out here. So this, honestly, I'd say, like, if it's something that you're read up on, and it's something that you remain bullish on, then you found yourself a great opportunity. This is my first time ever looking at this, but it is great to see that sort of upside potential. It was sitting somewhere in that 2x range to the low analyst estimate prior to that news coming out. So yeah, even in the short term, trying to take advantage of the bounce off the overcorrection, that could also be an opportunity. What else we got? Clean Spark, I believe. CLSK. There it is. All right. So just looking at the daily chart that we have, and this is probably around that May 13th time, it is bottomed out at $13 per share. Currently, well, dropping pretty hard over the past, this is the third day now that we're opening downward from where we were at before. Let's see what the news is on Clean Sparks. Okay, so on 6/14, added to Russell Microcap Index, good. Okay. Water Tower Research Fireside Chat, excellent. All right, so we've actually seen this recovery across a bunch of different growth stocks. And so the good thing is that this longer moving average that we have is still upward. It's still positively sloped. And the shorter term, that one that we have is negatively sloped, but that's understandable considering it is talking about all these different sell-off days that we've had. It doesn't take into account the big run-up that we've had before. The steepness is slowing, so our rate of increase is slowing. This sell-off is a little bit more exaggerated than what we saw with some of the other growth stocks. So this could be tied to some of the news that you would have for Clean Spark. Wow, this one also trading well below those analyst estimates. Two analysts covering it. Okay, so $45 to $50. Just want to take a look at the short interest that we have on it. So the short interest reports that you have here, they're not excellent. It's hard to tell because they always seem to lag behind, so you don't have any currently in it. But we could most definitely have short interest pushing down on Clean Spark, giving that downward pressure that we have, along with whatever else might be taking away from its price. So let's look intraday. Oh yeah, Mara, that's definitely something that we're looking at, are the option contracts and the expiration on those. And I believe Stockmo, absolutely love his videos, and I need to give him a shout out because I'll tell you what, his fundamental analysis, I learned so much from the things that he says, and it's humbling that he should even come over to watch my videos and stuff. But yeah, I heard him talking about the contracts expiring. on some of the crypto plays that we have. And when that's over, that could be something that allows us to turn things around. And this drop that we have in crypto prices is coming at just the right time for anybody who's looking at it from a long-term perspective. So just real quick on CleanSpark here, watching those prices jag downward. That's 1, 2. We're in our third day of the sell-off. We could see this as the last day of the sell-off for CleanSpark. Usually there's like a 3 to 4 day trend that we have. I didn't see any major catalyst. Maybe there is one. If you know of it, you're certainly welcome to let me know in the comments. But what's today? Today's Tuesday. So probably Wednesday or Thursday, we should start to see this like slow down, even out. Even so, this might be an oversell. If we bring up something like the Bollinger Bands, I think we're going to see well outside 2 standard deviations. That's a lot of volatility. Holy cow. There we go. Let's take off the moving averages. Yeah, I mean, that's really messy to look at. So these prices that you have that fall outside 2 standard deviations outside the mean, these are unusually low prices, and then you see them correct back towards the average. So here you have more unusually low prices that you have. And so this should tend back towards the average that it's eventually going to turn. So right now we're getting really far outside 2 standard deviations. So these are unusually low prices, local to the prices that we're talking about. So that's just another way to look at this. And let's put up, yeah, the RSI. We are well into the oversold period. So if you look back at when we had it back here, according to the RSI, we had a little bit of price recovery that followed that oversold period. So CLSK, if it's one that you're bullish on and you're looking for buying opportunities, certainly on red days would be those opportunities for dollar cost averaging, where you'd take small bites of your positions over time versus trying to time the market and going all in at a price like this and then losing a lot more money because there was still a lot further for it to run downward. So take your pick on whether you play it or if you play it. But certainly if I was looking for a time to buy any stock, it would be when it's red, and especially deeply in the red for one that I have high conviction on, versus any time when it's hugely green. So yeah, and I try as often as I can not to sell at the bottom of anything unless I have some good reason to cut it loose. All right, what else we got? The BT, we're still waiting for some stability. So Sean, that ties in with what Mary was saying. There you go. Let's check out ETH. This one I also talked about in my video this morning. For Grayscale, this tracks the price of Ethereum. This is the Grayscale Ethereum Trust, similar to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which would be GBTC. And you can see these oversold prices. I'm actually getting rid of the RSI, just so we have more screen economy to talk about how it tracks with Ethereum. So if you were to compare this chart to the Ethereum chart, this sell-off that we're seeing today is 100% completely expected because of the drop in Ethereum. So as the strength comes back to Ethereum, the strength comes back to Grayscale. If you're bearish on Ethereum, well, then you should also be bearish on Grayscale because they do track each other really, or this tracks Ethereum really well, I should say. It's not mutual. GBTC, just to show it, this one will resemble the Bitcoin Trust a lot. Bitcoin a lot more. And again, red candle day, not a big surprise there because I don't know if you guys are seeing the echoes that I am on my screen, but I might have to restart WEBULL here. Really, it's my laptop's issue that we're looking at, that it tends to lag behind, and then I get these sort of anomalies on my screen, and it does make it hard to read. But Grayscale Bitcoin will certainly track that as well. And right now, like, there's so much background momentum, and there's so much accumulation from the industries and from big companies that it's just not going away anytime soon. However, if you are those big companies and you're buying substantial amounts of Bitcoin, you would much rather do it at these low prices. And if you have the ability to push the market down to get better buying opportunities, then wouldn't you do it too? That's the sort of stance that I have on the prices that we're seeing. And when they have felt as though they've accumulated enough, or they pushed down the prices enough, or they forced out enough of the retail sellers, that it's time to start bringing them back into the mix and really start letting the the prices come back to Bitcoin, then I think that we'll see those prices come back as well. And seeing the options expire this Friday could really bring good things back to us for Ethereum, for Bitcoin, and for these stocks that are tied to them as well. All right, so let me just make sure I'm reading through Plug long term. All right, so hydrogen plays in general. I think hydrogen is going to be huge, and I think it's also going to be a very long-term play that might be a little bit longer of a scope. They are in my growth portfolio, but it's one that I don't think that they're going to see the strength within the next 3 to 5 years. I mean, I like Plug. That's why I invest in them. They are one of the leaders in the hydrogen space. But hydrogen, I think, will take its stride as we get down to more efficient levels. So right now, it's very costly to work with hydrogen, and it's also rather inefficient to gather enough hydrogen in order to really produce the power that it needs. But it is super clean. But right now, the fossil fuel burn to produce that hydrogen is where it's still a little bit dirty right now. So as the technologies develop and as storage and transportation infrastructure expands for hydrogen, I think we're going to really see a lot of strength come out of the hydrogen plays, including Plug Power. This is one that I would definitely keep an eye on over time. And being an early investor in this means that you could be sitting on it for a while. And it does have a really nice linear path that is traveling, besides this time when South Korea gave them, what was it? I think, was it a $10 billion deal, I believe, with South Korea to build out that hydrogen infrastructure. And they have a small enough, what do I want to say, geography that hydrogen could make a lot of sense, and it could be easy to build that infrastructure in South Korea versus building it throughout the larger continents and countries. So that's just something that I think about when I think about Plug Power. Not that they're only in South Korea, but South Korea could certainly be one of those areas where we kind of try things out and see if it works on that smaller scale. Because if it does, then the question comes in, will it work on the larger scale? And I think over time, I think hydrogen will be one of our winners. In the shorter term, I think still going with the EVs with the lithium battery power is really where we're looking for the more current technology, where a lot of the strength comes in. But Plug will certainly have its day to catch its stride. Thank you, Angelito. GSAT. There we go. This one, I believe, has seen a lot of momentum recently as well. There we go. Global star one day. Not too bad looking on the daily chart. I mean, I remember this ramp up that it had. And this is actually one that I found, I think, when it was making this pennant pattern. And I was like, hey, this could be a really good play for us. And push came to shove. I was like, I'm just not too convinced right now about it. I just didn't know enough about the company. But I was like, hey, this could break out just looking at the pattern that's on the chart. And then, I mean, it skyrocketed up. It sold off with everything else. Whoa. My apologies for making that jump there. There we go. Sometimes when I scroll, if I move too fast, because I'm using my touchpad, because I like the multi-gesture touchpad, it'll move way too quick, and definitely faster than I expect. So there you go. All right, so looking at this one actually bottomed out in April, and then kind of tagged around the same time other times did, but it didn't go back to this previous. The fact that the lows are increasing for us, that the highs sort of are, we get about of a double top resist around $1.66. That could be sort of strong resistance for us going forward. Let's see if there's any analyst estimates on it. Okay, we're well above the low. Really what I like to see, if I find the stocks at the right time, that all of the analyst estimates are above its current price. Now, that doesn't mean that this is a bad thing. I don't know about the age of that 55 cents. I don't know what developments have come out since then. Same thing for the 325. I just don't know. We have an underperform and we have a buy rating. So according to the analysts anyway, we're somewhere in the middle of those. If we looked at tip ranks, it could give us a different story. As a matter of fact, here I'll jump over. I don't want to get rid of coin market cap. I want to keep that around. There we go. if it allows me to. There we go. Here, I'll do it this way. There we go. All right. So, well, it looks like neutral overall. How many people do we have covering it here? It says decrease. Last seven days bullish. Technical is positive. Momentum 230%. Decent momentum on it. Okay. I'm looking for the price target because I'm not used to seeing $1.54. Usually it's right at the top, so unless I clicked on something else. All right, currently no data available on this one. There we go. So we'll go back to the chart for right now. See if we can see anything else if we look intraday on it. There we go. All right. So, okay, yesterday, excellent momentum on it. Today, a little bit of a sell-off early. It's not retracing too deeply into its current price action that it has. We're still staying somewhat towards the top of that. If we go up to a higher time frame, mush some of these candles together. There we go. We actually have somewhat of a flag formation coming out of that, and that could be why we're seeing some of that run up that we have here. Like I said, without the daily chart, might even be better that we would look at it over a longer time horizon if it does have any bullish potential to it. So we had a little bit of a gap up over the previous day. All wick up there, no body. But again, we're up again from that today, so up about 1.46%. What news do we have on GSAT? There you go. Initiated as a buy by B. Riley. That was 23 hours ago, so that could be some of the reason that we have for some of the price action. Let's see what value they put on it. This could be honestly one of the more recent ones that we have. There we go. Wow, price target of 325. There you go. So as far as how recent is it? It's recent as of 2:21 p.m. yesterday. So it's not even 24 hours old. So if B. Riley is one of the analysts that you follow and that you like and that you trust, it's definitely a name that's pretty big in the analyst world. Then it's one that you could work with. There we go, one that you could put your faith into. And it'd be neat to read the analysis to see why they think that it's going to hit 325. That's still another 10% above its previous high that it had. And we have a nice volume spike come out of it. That's probably from that buy rating that we had, and now it's kind of settling a little bit. So we have potential to break that double top resist that we have. Let me see, the high price was 163. So if we make it up over that, then we have room to this double top over here at 176. And then after that, I mean, we have so much room from there to make it back up to the top. Clover Health showing back up. There we go. That was neat to watch Clover Health go up to almost $29 per share. Looks like now it's recovering a little bit off of that sell-off that it's had since then. The volume's still filling out. You can see some of the momentum has come off, that it has tapered off of that. So we can watch that play out. Let's look intraday. All right. All right. Sorry for the downtime there. My YouTube stream bugged and I couldn't see your comments anymore. So I wanted to check that out. Clover Health. Wow, that's quite a recovery today. So hopefully you guys are hearing the things that I'm saying, because like I said, my YouTube studio bugged. So that's where I go to read the comments that you put out. There we go. All right, do me a favor, guys. As long as you can see what's going on, just let me know that we're still live and that you can still see the feed. Because like I said, okay, excellent. Thank you. I apologize. I couldn't see your comments, and then it told me that there was a duplicate stream. And all right, so now we're back. My apologies for the technical difficulties. All right, so looking at Clover Health, huge run up today. Big green candle that we have. Recovering a little bit from that sell-off that we were looking at. Let me see. Extremely high Wall Street bet stock surges, clean energy fuels, AMC. Okay, excellent. Back to the chart here. Looking at the level 2, we have a support price. Looks like coming in at around 1320, 1321, and we have a lot of buy-side pressure down below that. And then on the sell side, we're hitting a little bit of a price wall right around like the 1350-ish mark. So it'd be important that we break over that. And if you look at the prices that we've had recently, you can see the reason why that number comes in there. It's right around the top of this peak that we have right here. And then probably have a little bit more resistance right around like the 1360 mark. Yeah, so you can see just a little bit of a spike right there off of that one. And then I'm sure if we saw a little bit more of these higher prices that we would see even bigger resistance come in. But look at that. Look how much support we have coming in on the buy side with those orders. Still a little bit low. We could see it come in and we could see it push a little bit more. We don't have a lot of sell side pressure going on right now. As a matter of fact, there you go. There's the push I was talking about. All right, that'll give us a little bit more room to run. Of course, we could see some of this sell side pressure build as we progress on this one. Wow, look at that volume. We're at 30 million shares traded right now. Let's go to the daily chart and see how that stacks up against the previous days that we've had. All right, so if we go to the day that we had the highest volume in recent times here, 726 million. So it pales in comparison to what we had there, but it's already even with yesterday's trading volume of 32 million. So we have a decent amount of action coming in the first half hour of the market. All right, so no problem, Alan. Hydrogen seems like okay. Yep. Polly Luis, what do I think of Romeo? Let's go and check out Romeo Power, RMO. All right. Well, it had a little bit of a run, and then it peaked, and now it's settling back down again. As long as this settles higher than what we had before, it actually looks like we're finding support right around like that 834. Let's put our moving averages on there. There we go. All right, check that out. I'll zoom in for you. Look how well we're supported by the 50 period moving average that we have. The 200 period is slightly negatively sloped. So right now that would be still signs of a downtrend. And so if the trend is our friend and trading against that would mean that there's still that likelihood that it's acting bearish. We want to see this blue one, this lower moving average, start to turn upward and close that gap with the 200 period that we're looking at here. But we are finding a nice line of support along that. And if that support holds, we have just a little bit of an open on today below that, but right now at its current price, we're just about tagging that line. So that could continue to act as support for us and letting us know what to count on for Romeo Power. Mm, 3D Systems, huh? DDD. Who brought this one up? This one was Jerry. Wow, yeah. All right. Nice day for 3D Systems. This is one that I continually got slipped out on one time or another. I was looking for this under $20 a share before this run up, and it never came back down for a while. And then by the time that it did, and I came back around to it because I was looking at some of the investments that I was currently in and deciding where my convictions were, I put in an order the one day. I think it was around this mid-May time, and my order never went through because when the price opened, it opened up above where my order was, and so it never executed, and so I never really opened up a position. But I do like 3D Systems. I think that they're an incredible company, and they're having an incredible day today. This volume that we see back here on May the 11th, 60 million shares traded. That's really nice for setting off this run that we see happening here. This price that's high right now, absolutely wonderful. We want to see the volume come back and support it for that conviction. It is nice. It's trading above the 200 and the 50 period moving averages, and they are both positively sloped. I think that we're in good shape right now for continuing a bullish run that we have on 3D Systems. Let's see what news there was for this one. One hour ago from Ben Zing at 3D Systems, comp plan report development to deal deliver. Oh, neat. Bioprinted solutions getting into medical. That's awesome. Like that, to me, it blows my mind that machines for 3D printing can print with such precision that it could actually have implications in biology. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to read more on that. I don't want to get too deep into it for the live stream, but I mean, so many people in my life have been affected by breast cancer specifically, and even more so by cancer in general. That anything that we can do to help out these individuals through the trying times and through the sickness. And I don't know if you guys know anybody or close to anybody who's been afflicted with any type of cancer. It's devastating to watch. My uncle battled with it for 9 years before he finally lost his fight to it. And for him, it was colon cancer. It wasn't breast cancer. But you know, he was such a great man, and to see him just wither away over that time, the advancements in medicine can't come soon enough. And for this one, with the reconstruction with 3D Systems, for the breast cancer survivors to be able to offer them that chance at reconstruction that would, you know, allow them to have a little bit of themselves back. I think it's wonderful. That's definitely something that I could stand behind. And it was a company that I liked already because of their technologies, but getting into the medical field could certainly help their position. And we're seeing that big movement out of that now. Let's look intraday. Okay, Jasa, I haven't forgotten about you. I will get to that in just a moment here. Nice. Okay, so we are getting near. Like if you were to day trade this, we had that previous high. Let me see if I can zoom out far enough to find it. If not, I'll just go to the there it is. So we have a decent amount of room up to wherever we peaked out as 32.98, 32.99 maybe. Okay, I'll look at the daily chart. It'll just be easier. So the thing is about the price action right now is that if you did buy it, you're buying almost right into resistance. So if you bought it as an investment with a long time horizon, like months to years at a time, well, then you don't really worry about these little resistance levels that you have. But if you're trading this in a shorter time frame as like a swing trade or even an intraday trade, you got to be careful for these resistances that you could hit. So this one right here peaking out at looks like $33. So that'd be $2 up from right now, which would be like 6%. Not that that'd be horrible, especially if you do high volume day trades. That would actually be pretty good. This one was at 34.25. That'd be 10%. Depending on what sort of trade that you're doing, you got to be careful not to buy into resistance. And that's something that could happen. That could also send us right back down. Wonderful news for 3D Systems, though. All right, we hear you fine. You're good. Thank you guys for all your feedback. I had a professor once upon a time who said technology will fail, and I knew, yeah, I mean, he was right. We've all experienced it. But it's just such a simple thing that anytime it does, I hear his words. A German guy, first name was Helmut, and just incredibly bright. He was a math guy, switched over to information technologies, and you know, he definitely lived that failure in technologies, and I certainly do with some of the things that I come into as well. So let me see. Let me see it so far in the buying zone. So. Okay. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Okay. Okay, so SoFi. There we go. There we go. 2256. You know, SoFi. It's not one that I follow, but it's one that I've heard a lot about, and I know there's a lot of popularity behind it. But looking at this, we have a fairly decent pennant formation coming out of this, where we can't decide if we're going to break to the upside or we're going to break to the downside. But this would be considered a bullish pennant formation. That if it is going to break to the upside. My apologies. It helps if I actually click on the trend line. There we go. If it is going to break to the upside, it has to make it up over that line. And if it's going to break to the downside, we want it to, it'll break down below this line that we have here. And then the last feature that we have of it would be the flagpole itself. So about from the bottom to the top. Now, this isn't the cleanest formation that I've seen, and you can see it's not totally symmetric, that it's actually pointed. Well, I guess it is skewed a little bit upward from where it is right now. Really, we could break that same distance from where it is here, according to the formation, just from the technical chart on it. So that would be from down at this price, 15 up to 24, so $9. So according to this, you know, we could see 31. I don't know if we'd have that sort of strength because we have this resistance back here to look at as well at 28, 26. So just something to consider when you take a look at SoFi. We could honestly see a little bit of a breakout coming out of this. It's hard to know which direction it'll be, but like I said, this pennant formation could help us make that decision when we're taking a look at it. There I go, moving too fast again. All right, so moving on from there. TTOO. There you go, T2 Biosystems. I definitely day traded this one a while back. There we go. Woo! Look at that chart. Well, out of its recent price action anyway, it looks like, let me see, we could fall another, we're sitting just above support right now, like $1. I can't really see because it looks like I lost, there's my horizontal line. About 10 cents from where it's at now, so about, I don't know, we'll just call it 10% down, and I can go another 10% from there to reach this low down here. So 10% increments, and then we got to be careful because right now the most recent high, we failed to make a new high off of that, and there's that death cross that people like to talk of. And if you, let's see where else we have it happening. It happened here, and it looks like it lagged a little bit by a couple of days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like it lagged behind about 10 days, and then you can see where we start to have that inflection point is where we started to have that buy-in again. And so this one isn't nearly as deep or as steep, but what we could look for in the few days that come out is for that to turn around and head back towards this 200-day simple moving average that I have up here right now. Long term, we'd have to look at the analyst estimates. We're sitting just about at the low analyst estimate. And it looks like it could go anywhere from sitting right where it is all the way up to $3.50. So really reading through the analyst estimates and seeing what they have to say. I like to look at the average and the low. The high one to me usually seems to be like that's the dream case. So I don't normally I like to see it and be like, man, that would be amazing if we hit it. It's just too ambitious for me to really get my hopes up about it. It could be because then I start to be too much of an emotional trader. So I like to look at the low and the average and see sort of a middle idea of where people are thinking. The analysts are thinking that this is going to end up. So long term, it could 2x from here. Let me see what they do. There we go. In vitro diagnostics gauge developing platform, offering an alternative to diagnostic methodologies. Pathogens, biomarkers. Yeah, so it sounds like they're going to be highly dependent on intellectual property, FDA approvals, things like that. So I don't know if they already have a product out or if they have these methodologies out or some sort of service going. But those are the things that I would watch for to see how that's going for them. As long as we stay up above these previous lows, or as long as those support holds, we can be in good shape. I would just I'd be careful to protect the downside on this because pharmaceutical plays are just so difficult to talk about the success of them, and they are typically highly volatile stocks. So I would be careful, especially if somebody were to buy in on these big spike days. They're completely infamous for spiking up and then just leaving people bag holding because they come ripping right back down. That's very, very common for biopharma stocks. So long term, according to the analysts, we have a decent amount of upside. It's not one that I personally follow. All right. So for Mara, I don't know if you want to talk about a best entry. If I were to talk about best entry, what I would say is watch the crypto markets. So whenever they hit bottom, whatever bottom is, that's also going to be probably good relative minimum value on the stock price for Mara when we watch it. So knowing when that bottom happens, well, that'd be timing the markets, and nobody's excellent at that. If it was excellent all the time, that person would be a very rich person, and their strategies would be very sought after. Dollar cost averaging is the most popular approach when it comes to these things. So really, depending on how you feel about the crypto market is really what you want to look for what it comes with Mara. So if you're bullish on crypto, being like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins like it, Cardano is one that I like, Polkadot, Chain, Polygon. There's a couple good ones that are out there. So if those are ones that you believe in and that the strength will come back to the crypto market, then that would also be your indicator for Mara, because this will do pretty much whatever the crypto market does. So that's the tie-in that you have. So I would look at what's happening in the background on crypto to inform what's going to happen with Mara. If you're bullish and believe that strength will come back, Bitcoin will trade for $85,000 a share in the fall, according to the stock to flow model. A number that gets tossed out a lot for Ethereum is $10,000 a share by 2025. When you look at those sort of analyses, and if you believe those bull cases, if that's also what you envision for these, then we should see a lot of strength coming into Marathon Digital over time. So I would just, if you're looking for a buying point, that's what I would say, is to look at crypto and see what that market's doing. With that said, here we'll jump over to BTC and see see where we're sitting. Here we go. All right, so far we're finding support. We did put in a brand new low of 28,805. And how did that compare with the low that we have over here? There it is, 29. Okay, wow. We put in a really decent low value from some of these other numbers. Let's see what we have over here. 28.8, 28.05. Yeah, so we got some decent support, but I'll tell you what, the pressure's there. Like, we are trying to break through that support right now. That there's a lot of downward pressure going on. Let's see if we have any big news out of CoinDesk. Bitcoin finds support, faces resistance at 36K. Well, if we're going to bounce back up towards resistance, that's a 20% upside. So, I mean, crypto traders that are looking for just short-term plays on Bitcoin, if we are going to hold resistance at 30 and then see a quick 20% turnaround on that cash, you know, that could definitely be a play that you would have there. Beijing doubles down on rooting out crypto in China. Okay. No problem, Bill. Anytime. And then Lee Redmond wants to want my call to print. Lee Redmond, I wish you the best of luck, my friend. I hope that that your call prints for you, and I wish you all the green in the world. What else we got that's moving? Senseonics up almost 5%. This is one that I had a call option that I was just kind of waiting during this time when it wasn't doing much of anything. I sold a call option just to collect some capital. I didn't think that it would be exercised, and I was gonna do just a stock buyback, and then I ended up letting it go while it was in the money, and I ended up getting assigned, and I made money on it because I think the price that I had was, I don't know, like $1.90 or something like that. Maybe $1.85 was my cost basis, and then sold the call option. I think it was like maybe a $2.50. It kind of the price is out of my head right now, but they went ahead and exercised it. I got assigned, and then I didn't have those 100 shares. I still made money on it, but then to watch it go up to these, I remember watching it go back up over $3, and it's like, yes, wait a minute, I don't have those anymore. It was quite a moment. But yeah, it looks like it's recovering after a little bit of the sell-off that I had recently. And I've said before, if you followed me before, their implantable technology that they have for continuous glucose monitoring, the longer time frame that they can give, and right now I think they're sitting at the 90-day FDA approval. If they get 180, that's great. I think it's still a little bit of an invasive procedure, and people who are diabetic have commented on when I did the videos. They're like, why would I want to get the implant? Why would I want to do this to myself every 90 days? And if they watch the video, I don't know, I wouldn't want to go through it every 90 days. And my mom has type 2, my niece has type 1. I wouldn't want them to go through it every 90 days. But if they get up to their 365 for FDA approval, once a year for something that it gets implanted under the skin, and then just a little bit of monitoring. The calibration is also an issue too, because if they can get the calibration worked out that it doesn't have to be, I think you still have to do finger sticks and check your blood sugar. So they have some kinks to work out in the system. And also taking on Dexcom's huge. And so market share is going to be something that's going to be a little bit limiting for them. FDA approvals and also calibration, if they're able to work out calibration issues, that they also get longer time frames, that could be happen less often. Then, you know, I think as their product develops and if they're able to hit those milestones, we're going to see a lot more strength coming to Senseonics. All right, Taylor, thank you very much, and thank you, Stockmo, for the kind words. I did mention him earlier in this live stream. Very kind of him. I heard in that one that he mentioned Uncle Larry, Larry Jones, just a class act of a guy, just soft spoken and really cares about his followers. And you know, I absolutely love what he does for community. There's a lot of good YouTubers out there that I like to watch. Those two are two of my favorites. I like the breadth of Meet Kevin's coverage to talk about what's going on in a lot of the big picture stuff that's going on with the markets. And my financial friend, what does he say? He says, I think it's, hey guys, it's Sam, is how he starts off every one. He's on to a lot of good companies, and he's got a beat on a lot of the momentum stocks and stuff like that. I'm not going to go on too much longer with this stuff, but I really should do more of those shout outs, because I just think that there's a lot of wonderful people that are on YouTube that are very much worth following. Oh, I know, Zip Trader, Charlie. He is hugely entertaining and really knows what he's talking about as well. So yeah, if you guys have other people that you like to follow and stuff, you know, let me know. I'll check them out. I like to find those people who who really know their stuff, but also are really looking out for the community at large, because that's exactly what I'm doing for the people who follow me, is looking out, trying to give those opportunities that I find in the market, and trying to provide whatever education or entertainment that I can. Cooler technology. Oh, I just clicked on the wrong, it jumped too quickly on me. There we go. Yeah, they had just a heck of a pre-market. Let's go down to 30-minute. There you go. Look at that pre-market activity that they had, up to $5.42, and that was relatively high volume. It doesn't seem it because of what we have during the day, the fact that there were 19 million shares traded. But if I can get that off the screen here, there we go. Now look at this pre-market activity that we have with Cooler Technologies. Lots of buying with Cooler Technologies, and look how it dwarfs the regular trading day that preceded it. So this was Wednesday of last week into Thursday's pre-market, and then as soon as I bring in Thursday's regular trading activity, then, well, they get shrunken down too, and you can just barely see, and it died. It cooled off 100% completely back to the levels that it was trading at. So let's zoom back out here so we can see more of this. It looks like now we're inflecting, and now we're kind of moving right back into, it looks like we're hitting almost support on that 200 period simple moving average that we have. So yeah, good, awesome for Cooler. They are lithium battery transport technologies, and they got a lot of really cool products. And really, I think the big news, the catalyst that we had was the approval to do air transport for prototype lithium-ion batteries, because their technologies keep those lithium batteries from overheating and exploding, and keeping the aircraft safe, so that way there's not fatalities coming out of just trying to transport batteries. And so that would speed up also prototyping processes for people who have to outsource their lithium-ion battery prototypes. Plug still doing all right. Senseonics. KOSS is moving. All right. Virgin Galactic up. We have a lot of up. Let's check out the down. Polkadot, 23% down. Woo! My goodness. All right. So let's go to the daily chart on Polkadot and see just how significant this is. All right, well, this is going to be terrible for it, so let's switch over to CoinMarketCap. This will be much better. WEBULL is getting much better at tracking cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin. Those are all ones that you have much more history, and it will work out a lot better. But these newer ones that they're just starting to provide, not trading yet, but coverage, the daily chart's just not going to show you a whole lot. CoinMarketCap is a nice place to go and see those things. Clove is moving again. Yeah, I'll go back to Clove in just a moment. Yeah, they had a big green candle today. Coming off the highs that it did, I think we're finally seeing some sort of that bounce coming through. Let's switch over to the trading view for Polkadot. All right, so Polkadot broke its most recent support. That's probably why we're seeing such a big drop. I apologize for some of this slowness that we're having. My internet's usually pretty good, but every once in a while we get hiccups. I live in a small town, and the fact that I actually have high-speed internet is pretty incredible. There we go. All right, so let me see. I'm gonna shrink this up. There we go. So off this low that we have here, right around like 1350, it looks like we came down a little bit lower than that even. So the low is $13 even. So that round number support, that's psychological support. So that could actually hold pretty steady for us when we look at Polkadot. So this is the blockchain of blockchains, and they recently started their parachain slot auctions. So when you look at DOT, they use DOT as a governance token that is used for voting on who gets added to the what do they call their core chain? I'll have to remember what that is. I'm blanking on it for right now. But then I think they have 100 slots for the parachains to be added on over time. And so they use the dot tokens for auctions to see who gets added onto that. And then they also have para threads that would also go along that would be more of a pay-as-you-go type use, and it would provide stability, support, security for those blockchains. And it also allows for, it has bridges to span across different cryptocurrencies and interoperability between them. So there's a lot of awesome things going on. I think, was it Dr. Gavin Wood, I believe, is one of the creators who started off with Ethereum and has now moved into Polkadot since then. Happens to be another one of my favorites. I think that it has a really neat structure to it compared to some of the other coins that are out there. So awesome. Like I said, that round number support of $13, that could definitely hold for us. And that gives us a lot of room should we come back up to these levels. So up to these bottoms around 19. So about a 50% upside to that. And if we make it back up to these tops here, 25, so almost 2xing from where it's currently trading at on Polkadot. Now, I should mention, just in case you haven't been following or that you don't follow crypto all that much, the crypto market itself, check that out. 8% for Bitcoin is trading under 30,000, which is a pretty critical support for us that is trading under that. And if we break too far below 28.8, then we have room down to like 25 or 22,000. It's quite a big fall from where it's at. Down 26% over the last 7 days, and Ethereum down 31%, down almost 12% today, trading down below 1,800. So, like I said, for the Ethereum, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency bulls out there, today is a day for a lot of dollar cost averaging, possibly even moving into, depending on where they see this. If they think that this is the bottom, you could see people really going all in on these things. I wouldn't compromise my own financial security by doing something like that. But I have purchased more crypto today with some of these prices that we have. Cardano, absolutely awesome. I think there's a lot of room for this one as well. Down, reacting more volatilely than what we have for Ethereum or Bitcoin, down almost 20%, but also to the upside, it usually reacts more volatilely as well. I purchased more Cardano today. I purchased more Polygon, more Ethereum. So those are some of the places where I've thrown a few more dollars into the ring for cryptocurrencies. Yesterday, I bought Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and I've also bought Ethereum. I put those purchases in over at the Discord, is where I make those announcements for those alerts for those things that I was buying. So so those are just some of the purchases that I have. I also want to add Mara and Riot to that as well, and it looks like today I'll probably get that sort of opportunity. All right, let's check out. Go back to the gainers here. There we go. Wow, close up at a 21%. 3D Systems up 20%. Excellent. Yeah, look at that bounce that we have coming off that bottom. So it looks like we could be correcting a little bit back into those prices, and our volume is spiking up over what we had those previous days after the last run up. There we go. And I think, was this the one that I was talking about resistance for? We might see a little bit of resistance on these lower time frames that we didn't see from the higher ones. Yeah, it looks like right back here, it's going back to this day's open that we had. So this was Wednesday of last week. Somewhat even, maybe peekaboo just a little bit above off the wick of the candle here before coming back down. Let's go down to a lower time frame. Decent looking day so far. So this is the 5-minute chart that we're looking at. And so we had this run up. And if we looked at a 10-minute chart, we'd see a little bit more consolidation. So we'd have this, these two bars going together to close all the way up here. And then these two bars would be consolidated over the next 10 minutes. So that would wipe out. Looks like we'd have a narrow range. Let me see. Open there. Close there. Yeah, so it'd be a narrow range red bar with a long wick coming off of that. So it would be like a hammer saying that it had still upward pressure going to it, and that's what we see is that it's carrying forward. Let's get the 10-minute chart just so you can see it. There we go. There's that that hammer that we have going up. So that would be that the bears tried sell side pressure, and we had about 50% retracement coming back here. But then the bulls were like, we're not doing that. And so you can see the bodies of these candles down here at about 1280 before the next run up that we have. We could run into a double top resist here. Not quite even from what we have, but we could see it turn back around, or we could even just see it taking a little bit of a rest before another push. But we are starting to get that 10:30 hour. So the stock could calm down around this point in time. The volume has been holding up nicely throughout the trading day so far. You can see after that rest period here, look at the volume that came in order to cause that next spike upward that we had. And then holding strong throughout there. And like I said, the volume's starting to come out of it now. But this candle is still shaping up. We have about a minute yet before this one closes. And it's starting to completely engulf this candle that we have before, turning into a double top resist. So we could see this settle a little bit before it either trades sideways or drops off, or it could find more strength later on. But this is going to be pretty hard resistance for us, right around like the 1350 mark. All right, I want to take a look at GHVI, and then I can call this to a close, just because this is one of my favorites. It was brought to my attention by Meet Kevin, and I absolutely love their business model. And they're right that they have huge margins off of their products so far, and their service that they have for making the dollhouse 3D mappings of buildings, and they are starting to be used for insurance purposes. And people for rental properties, people who have used GHVI's dollhouses had higher and faster rates of selling those apartments, renting out those apartments or those properties because of their technologies. I think that we're going to see a lot of continued strength from GHVI in the future. And I was able to get a hold of this when it was around between $10 and $12 a share, because I bought a couple different lots of it as we moved on through. So there we go, Matterport. And I believe, did I see that they were finally doing their merger around the end of June? It could be this week or maybe even next week. I'm going to have to look and see if they made the announcement. Sometimes I get it confused with other ones. But if they're getting close to their merger date, because this is a SPAC, this is something that we could see building up to that merger date. So I better look into it soon. It could build up to that merger date. The stock price could. And then the day before or the day of, we could see that stock start to just sell off as people start to lock in their gains. For me, it's more of a long-term hold. So depending on how much it runs up leading up to the merger, I could keep my position. I could take the profits if it runs up a lot, if it goes astronomical, and then buy back in when it falls. If it's expected to do that. Again, it would depend. It'd have to be a pretty big run up for me to do that. That it would start to like maybe double from here leading up to that, because then it would give me a chance to dump those shares and then to buy back in when the price settles a little bit. I've been known to do that from time to time. All right, ladies, gentlemen, friends, people, thank you so much for stopping in. I really appreciate it. And keep an eye on that crypto market and Mara and Riot Blockchain, GBTC for Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, and ETHE for Ethereum, Grayscale Ethereum Trust. Those are ones that I made my video about this morning. Go ahead and check that out. I really think that they all have great upside potential with the recovery of the crypto markets. And we could definitely see some buying opportunities ahead of us. Remember, nothing that I say is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I will, to the best of my ability, tell you what I see and let you know the opportunities that I find. So thanks for stopping by, everyone. Thank you, Angelito. Thank you, Taco, Taylor, Bill, Lee, Jerry, Steve, Joss. I really hope I'm saying your name right or close. I want you to know that I am doing my best. Absolutely love learning all that I can. Luis, Polly, Mary was also in here. Alan, Sean, Glenn, wonderful. All right, so thank you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.